from the White House, let's bounce over to the New York Stock Exchange where we find David Gura. David, you'd think everything that we had just heard there from both Capitol Hill, from the White House and others, that the markets would somewhat respond positively by some of these efforts to try and get some stimulus in the economy, though it looks like we're in for another rough day.
Yeah, what we've heard there from our colleagues is there are a lot of things for investors to watch today, and they'll be watching all of that very closely. There is this sort of general sense of anxiety that permeates the markets, and when it comes to that fiscal package, there is confusion. There is skepticism that something's going to be done here. I go back to the press conference that was held yesterday afternoon at the White House. Vice President Mike Pence, leading that press conference, asked a number of questions about what the White House's ideal fiscal plan is going to be, and the fact that he couldn't produce it, couldn't outline it for reporters is certainly something investors took note of. I want to point out what happened in the UK earlier this morning. There was coordination between its central bank, between the Bank of England, which did this emergency rate cut rates by 0.5 percentage point, coupled with something from its Treasury Department as well. That is, frankly, the way things are supposed to work. And you look at the way that our system is working here in the United States, the president still attacking the chairman of the Federal Reserve, whom he picked himself, trying to get rates lower still. It doesn't seem like there's much kumbaya among all of these policymakers. That said, the president did convene a meeting of regulators yesterday. Conversations are happening. Kelly, just a moment ago, mentioning that meeting that's going to take place at the White House today of bank executives, CEOs. That's certainly a good sign for investors and something they're going to be paying close attention to as we get into the afternoon. Eamon?
All right, David Gura live for us at the New York Stock Exchange.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.